Attorney, earlier you pleaded guilty to the second-degree felony of robbery. A pre-sentence report has been prepared. Have the parties had an opportunity to review it?
Yes, sir.
Any corrections or changes to it?
No, sir.
It's made a part of the record for all purposes.
5 minutes later.
There's something I didn't understand. Understand what happened here. I'm reading the pre-sentence report and it doesn't make any sense at all.
Yes, Your Honor. The victim in this case advised that she was, her neighbors were going out of town. She was going over to feed the animals. That her ex boyfriend, who she has a child with, showed up while she had left the baby in the car with the car running at the neighbor's house.
Yeah. So far, that's what I'm reading. Yeah, but
he shows up, tries to get her in the vehicle and take the baby. He pulls out a taser and she grabs the baby. They kind of fight over it, and he tases her. She said it did hurt a little bit, but then he takes her vehicle and flees, and he was not apprehended till sometime later, where he went, I believe, somewhere in northern Texas. He had also to mention that I don't believe she had saw the defendant over a year at this point, so it's kind of out of nowhere is where he showed up.
that's okay. All of that I understand, but that's not what the indictment says. You didn't say anything about what the indictment says. It says cause bodily injury by striking the victim with the automobile.
This was, Your Honor, it was re-indicted.
It was.
Yes, Your Honor, to a robbery. It was initially filed as an aggravated assault and cause number 22-41243. It was re-indicted to cause number 23-41313, which is a robbery. I apologize, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm following you now. So
Yes,
we've
sir.
got 41313. Okay, I understand now. You pleaded guilty here earlier.
Yes, I do.
Pre-sentence report was prepared by the probation office. Everybody's had a chance to review that,
Yes, Your Honor.
and there are no changes or objections to it?
No, none from the state.
All right. Then it's made a part of the record for all purposes. Anything you want to say?
Yes, Judge. And we wanted to point out, Judge, on the PSI on page 4. I
Yeah.
think one of the biggest things in his advantage is the screener.
No, let's walk back. Page 1.
Right. He's talking about the.
Let's see.
I see. I know.
I told her to get in the car, and even though I did have a taser, I did not use it.
Never.
Well, isn't that interesting? Because you pleaded guilty under oath to intentionally and knowingly causing bodily injury to the complainant by tasing Ashley Jurek. So who did you lie to? My officers or me? You can't have it both ways. You're not going to play games with the court. All right. Can you explain that?
Is that Monday?
I just.
Lied. You lied somewhere.
Yes.
Here, you lied under oath. Then when we put you under oath, when you said I plead guilty, are you pleading guilty voluntarily? Yeah. To all the elements of the crime. When you said yeah, and then you turn right around and tell my officers, although I had a taser, I did not use it. Why would you screw up like that? Why would you lie?
I just copped out to it because I thought maybe it would be a great deal.
Say that again.
I don't really understand. Like I just
Wait. Do you understand the truth versus a lie? Are you telling me you committed perjury when you pleaded guilty then? Which is another criminal action.
No, sir.
You committed perjury when you pleaded guilty to this crime, which says you tasered her. That's what you swore under oath.
I did those crimes, sir.
Is that right?
Yes, sir, I did those crimes.
So you didn't tell the probation office the truth?
I apologize. I'm sorry.
All right. Anything else?
Judge, the reason why I was going to ask you to consider giving him probation, as I was saying earlier, I think the good thing is that the score was a low risk level. So I thought that's something positive, that he's not going to be a big risk if he's on probation.
I know it begs the question. So why is he here? He's such a low risk.
Because I guess with the TRAS screener,
How many times have you been to prison?
looking
I'm not talking to you. I hope I know how many times you've been to prison.
well, I'm talking to him too.
Why would you even answer that question?
I'm trying to help him out. I'm trying to help.
All right.
And I was just looking. I see.
Oh, look, the last time you went 4 years,
Yes,
right? Time before that, let's see, you were on probation, that was revoked, and then you did 1.5 years in state jail. So you've been to a prison facility 2 separate times, not counting your misdemeanor 30 days jail in Bowie County. Is that right? Or am I missing something?
He's talking about this. Yes.
You got forgery, which is, of course, deceit. Then evading arrest and detention with a motor vehicle. Later in 2017, you pick up 4 years in prison, right?
yes,
All right. Okay. Go ahead.
So just he was asking, will you really consider him for probation? And I understand that with this particular offense, he apologized for not being totally truthful about the taser incident. But Judge, I was asking you to consider this is more of a crime of a passion type thing, at least from my understanding. He really loves his son. He spent a lot of time with his son. His son has been a big part of his life. And when I met with him, when I talked to him,
How old is your son?
he just turned 3.
he turned 3 years old.
5/11/20.
And what happened was the young lady in this case, the complainant, and I'm not trying to justify conduct at all, but I think that when she was not letting him actually see his child and he had that relationship with his child, he blew up and he did something that he absolutely regrets. Now, was that right? No. But at the same time, just with the passions involved, when you got a man that really loves his kid, and he's going to speak for himself, I don't want to speak for him. Can you tell the judge just exactly what was the background with the kid, the ladies, and what was going on that kind of caused you and pushed you to the way what you did? And I know you sorry for what you did, but what was the circumstances? Because if you tell us the circumstances, the judge might have some leniency on you. What was the circumstances?
The circumstances were, Your Honor, for 2 years, I decided that when I went back home to Texarkana when we split up, I had hopes with getting back together, but my drug addiction with methamphetamine and stuff, like you don't even have to do it. It can mess your brain up real quick.
No, don't blame it on the drugs. That's your choice.
No, yes, my
Your choice.
My
Your
choice.
choice. You know.
Yes, sir.
You know what it can do to you. You made a choice rather to get high as opposed to being responsible for a family.
And I
You chose a selfish act. Okay.
So what
Well,
happened with your
that's why you're here
Yes, sir.
in an orange jumpsuit,
Yes, sir.
because it's all about you, which is not the way a family works.
It's not.
So tell him about what happened when leading up to the kid. You was telling me that you weren't able to see your kid. What happened?
I moved back down here, was in the Salvation Army trying to get myself right. And like for that whole past 2 years, it was like I was paying for pictures through text. And I would drive down there 350, 400 miles and I would just want to hug. But see, that's where I went wrong, was going down there without letting her know I was coming. And I learned she can't do it like that. And she didn't want her son around any kind of meth use. And
Good for her.
that's true. I mean, I did that.
Good for her. You put the family in harm's way. That's your choice. That was your choice. Where are you getting the meth from again?
I would get it. I got it down here,
Who?
and I got it.
Who? Where are you getting it from?
Whether
No, where are you getting it from?
Glass House, the road Glass House.
Who is it selling?
I guess his name's Sammy. They called him Sammy. I think his first name's like Isaac. I'm not mistaken, but they called him Sammy.
What about the cocaine? That was
And,
you were using that regularly until
Alvin.
2013, right?
The cocaine.
Where were you getting the cocaine from?
Cocaine. That was mostly in Texarkana. I would just get it from people out on this in the neighborhoods.
And then let's don't forget 18 years of cannabis use.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Where were you getting that from?
That would be in Texarkana also. I never really smoked anything other than just meth down here. I've never used intravenously.
So it's, but you were never addicted to it, to any of this?
Yes, I was addicted to it.
Okay.
But I just decided that I don't want it. I just do one drug now. That I just would do one drug. I don't even smoke any weed or anything.
And just what he was asking is that when she wouldn't let him see the kid, and she had every right to it being using the drugs, I think that kind of made him make an irrational decision with her because you did have a relationship with your kid.
I sure did.
Right. And I think when she told him that you could not see your kid because of the drugs, his mind made some real bad decisions at that point. And we're not justifying it. He's just asking for some leniency because that was more of a passion type situation. And not being able to see his kid really hurt his heart. That hurt his heart a lot.
Well, he assaults the mother in front of the child.
And I'm not
the way this goes.
I'm not defending it. I'm just saying
No, that was not an excuse.
But with the drug problem, if you put him on probation with him being low risk, he can take whatever drug classes or programs that probation. And I know probation's here if they will work with him. And I guess he could do the anger management, the moral recognition classes. He could also
Anything. You've been in drug rehab 3 times. One of them is an absolute failure.
They sure
But you're assuring me that you can take care of it by going back. You've been to St. Pete 3 times. That's the most and failed. What state say?
Your Honor, the defendant in this case, he wasn't able to see his child again because of his drug addiction. That was due to his own fault. Detective soon after this called Pennis' mother trying to locate him. She advised she didn't know where he was. She calls Detective Powell back and says, I've spoken with him. He took the vehicle and did this because he wanted to see his child. Then he tried to negotiate by saying that he would give the vehicle back if he could see the child at that point.
That's not the right way. Of course, this is what courts are for, to handle family
It is.
domestic issues.
And Your Honor, I believe Detective Powell,
put it in your own hands. Someone who's as irresponsible as you, it's going to be a failure.
It's very, very irresponsible.
in this report, it says that Detective Powell states that he needs to go to prison for what he did, and that he'll do it again. He doesn't deserve probation. He'll do it again. He has received probation, as the court knows. He's also received the 4 years TDC, and in keeping consistent with this court's rulings and how he normally operates, state believes 8 years is more than a fair offer on this case, and that's what we're asking for.
What else?
Judge, without me belaboring the same point, I know he made a real bad decision with that, his kid, but I do want you to bring where it had statement of interested parties. All attempts to contact the victim, Ashley Jurek, were unsuccessful at this time. So to me, when I read that, the victim in this case is not reaching out to the probation department saying, hey, put him in prison, put him in prison. Apparently, she did not respond to their attempts. I mean, that's what it looked like.
Well, I have,
Whatever
well,
reason,
with that, Your Honor, I have spoken with the victim and she did wish for him to receive pen time. She did not say how much, but that was her request with me when I did speak with her.
Well, that's,
He's got this prior felony conviction in 2017 out of Bowie County, right?
yes, sir.
Or 4 years prison. So for whatever reason, the state did not elect to use that as a prior enhancement, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's correct.
Okay. Anything else?
It's all.
If nothing further, I'm going to find that you have pleaded guilty, sir, voluntarily. You are mentally competent to do so. You understand the consequences of pleading guilty. There's sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted in your plea hearing to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt and support your guilty plea. To make that finding, I hereby find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this second-degree felony of robbery. I am following this agreement, and you are hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 8 years. You're looking really at 5 to 99 life in this. And so you're punished really at the low end. But it just, you know better. You've made poor choices. You're going to continue to make poor choices unless you somehow decide, with all the opportunities that you've had in drug rehabilitation, 3 times in drug rehabilitations, it's just a matter of you deciding that your family is worth more than you could hide. Until you decide that and make a conscious decision that you're going to quit being selfish and start being selfless, you're going to be back up here in front of cases, because that's what life is in making a good choice versus a bad choice. Is it all about me, or is it all about family and others? Who do you put first? You've been putting yourself first until you decide that you're really number 3rd between family, the creator, and until you start respecting and honoring others, most importantly, your family and this young child who you've done nothing but exhibit poor role modeling, which is easy enough to change if you want to. This other case that's pending is going to be dismissed.
Yes, Your Honor.
It wasn't superseded. It wasn't a superseding indictment, was it?
No,
That
Your
replaced another.
Well, yeah, actually,
Yeah, you need to send a dismissal with a
Yes, sir.
separate cause number.
yes, sir.
All right. Anything else on this man? Okay, that is.